we're talking about cravings. Those intense, sometimes irrational, always inconvenient urges for food. But here's the thing. Cravings are not the same as hunger. And if you've ever felt confused, frustrated, or even ashamed about your eating habits, this episode is going to be a game changer. So grab your water, your journal, maybe a snack, a smart one, and let's get into it. Health is messy because life is messy, but we rise anyways, like a phoenix from the chaos, chasing wellness that actually fits our real lives, mind, body, and soul. I'm Jolene, a nutritional therapy practitioner and fellow hot mess, here to flip the script on health. On Messy Wellness, we rise from the ashes, embrace the chaos, fluff those phoenix wings, and fly into wellness with grit, grace, and zero F skimming. Let's begin. Hey, let's start with a little myth busting, shall we? Cravings and hunger. They're not the same thing. They might feel similar in the moment, but they come from very different places in your body, and they need very different responses. Hunger is your body's biological way of saying, hey, we're running low on fuel, time to eat. It's a physical signal that builds gradually. You might notice your stomach growling, a dip in energy, or a little lightheadedness. You're open to eating a variety of foods. A sandwich, a salad, a bowl of soup. You're not picky. You just need nourishment and fuel. This is your body's way of keeping you alive and energized. It's regulated by hormones like ghrelin, which increases your appetite, and leptin, which tells your brain when you're full. When everything's working properly, hunger is a helpful and honest signal. But here's the kicker. If you ignore hunger for too long, like skipping meals or going too long without eating, your blood sugar drops, your energy tanks, and your body starts to panic. And that's when cravings come in hot. You see, cravings are different. They're not about survival. They're about satisfaction. Cravings are your brain's way of saying, I want to feel better. I want pleasure. I want comfort. And they're usually for something very specific, like chocolate, fries, or that one brand of sour gummies you haven't thought about in years until today. Cravings are driven by dopamine, the pleasure hormone. It's that same chemical that lights you up when you fall in love, win a jackpot, or scroll for 3 hours on TikTok. Your brain wants a hit of feel-good, and food is one of the fastest ways to get it. So if you've ever felt like you're addicted to certain foods, you're not really imagining it. Your brain is literally chasing a chemical high. Now let's talk about emotional eating, because this is where cravings get really messy. Emotional eating happens when we use food to cope with feelings instead of hunger. Stress, sadness, loneliness, anxiety, boredom, and even happiness. All of these emotions can trigger cravings. Let's paint a picture. You've had a rough day. Your boss was a nightmare. Your inbox, it's overflowing and you're exhausted. You walk into the kitchen and you see a box of cookies. Suddenly, those cookies aren't just cookies. They're comfort. They're an escape. They're a hug in an edible form. And listen, there's no shame in that. Emotional eating is human. But when it becomes your go-to coping mechanism, it can lead to a cycle of guilt, shame, and feeling out of control. So how do we break that cycle? Well, first, we learn to recognize what's really going on. Here's a little self-check you can do in the moment. First, ask yourself, did this feeling come on gradually or suddenly? Am I open to eating a variety of foods, or do I only want one specific thing? When was the last time I ate anything satisfying? Is my stomach actually growling or feeling empty? Am I feeling stressed, bored, sad, or overwhelmed? If it's sudden, specific, and emotionally charged, it's most likely a craving. If it's gradual, physical, and open-ended, it's most likely hunger. By turning inward and asking yourself these questions, you can learn the difference when your body's telling you if you're hungry or just craving something. And we all need tools to outsmart these cravings. So let's talk strategy, because cravings aren't evil. They're just misunderstood. And you're about to become a craving ninja. So step 1, hydrate first. Why it works? Thirst often masquerades as hunger. For example, you're working from home, it's 3 p.m., and you suddenly want chips. Before you grab that bag, drink a tall glass of water. Wait 15-20 minutes, and if you're still hungry, have a protein-rich snack like Greek yogurt or a boiled egg. If not, crisis averted. Step 2, prep like a pro. I know, it sounds like every fitness influencer's wet dream, but hear me out. Why it works. When healthy food is ready, junk food loses its power. For example, it's 6:30 p.m. and you're starving, and there's absolutely nothing prepped. You're tempted to order takeout, but if you had prepped a veggie stir fry or a protein bowl on Sunday, you'd be eating in 5 minutes instead of waiting 45 for a greasy delivery. You see how it works? Sometimes having prepped food is the best way and the simplest, and also it saves a lot of money. Step 3, eat a variety of foods. Why it works? Well, nutritional gaps can trigger cravings. For example, you've been eating the same smoothie every morning. Suddenly, you're craving salty trips. Your body might be missing the sodium or other minerals. Try switching it up with a savory breakfast, like eggs with avocado and greens, just to balance things out. We need to have a variety of foods so we get a variety of nutrients. Step 4, don't skip meals. Now, if you're fasting, that's a whole nother animal. We'll talk about that down the road. But right now, if you eat 2 meals a day, if you eat 3 meals a day, don't skip meals. Why it works. Skipping meals causes blood sugar crashes, which can fuel cravings. And I say this because when we're generally eating 2 to 3 meals a day, we plan out our meals so they're not ginormous. So we do get the blood sugar crashes. Our body needs fuel. And then we start craving things. So, for example, you skipped lunch because you're busy, but by 4, you're ravenous and eating half a bag of chips. If you packed a turkey wrap or a protein smoothie, you'd avoided the crash and the cookie spiral. You see, sometimes we do need to eat regularly. Now, we don't need to eat 20 times a day. 2 to 3 meals, maybe a snack here and there. But, we'll talk about meal timing in a different episode. Step 5, pause and distract. Why it works. Cravings peak and fade like waves. For example, you're watching TV and suddenly you want ice cream. Now, instead of heading to the freezer, pause. Set a timer for 15-20 minutes and do something else. Fold laundry, scroll TikToks, or play with your dog. Most cravings will pass if you give them time. Step 6, and this, guys, is a big one. Know your triggers. Why it works is because awareness helps you change patterns. For example, you always crave cookies at night. Is it stress? Is it habit? Loneliness? Try replacing the habit with something like make a cup of herbal tea, take a bath, or journal. And yes, maybe stop buying them cookies. If they're always calling your name every night, not having them in the house is the easiest way to stop the pattern. But you often have a crash like 3 p.m. at work and you go for coffee or a cookie or something. After a while, it just becomes habit. Your body gets used to eating at that time. And sometimes we just need to break those habits. It's that simple. Step 7, prioritize protein. You'll hear me talking about prioritizing protein in lots of contexts. In the context of cravings, why it works is protein keeps you full longer, and it also helps stabilize blood sugar. So, for example, you ate a plain bagel for breakfast, and then by 10 a.m., you're hungry again. Instead of eating the plain bagel, add eggs, a nut butter, protein shake the next time. You will stay full longer and reduce that mid-morning snack attack. So protein, 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 protein. Step 8, manage your stress. Why it works? Well, stress increases cortisol. Cortisol increases cravings. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. For example, you're overwhelmed with work and craving chocolate. Instead of reaching for the candy, take 5 minutes to breathe deeply, stretch, or step outside. You'll calm your nervous system and reduce that craving naturally. Step 9. You gotta sleep like you mean it, people. Why it works? Well, sleep deprivation messes with your hunger hormones. If you're sleep deprived, you're gonna be hungrier or have cravings. For example, you got 5 hours of sleep and now you're craving donuts. That's your body trying to compensate for low energy. So prioritize your sleep and you'll notice fewer cravings, especially for sugar and carbs. Step 10, make smart swaps. Well, why it works is you actually can satisfy the craving without the crash. For example, you're craving chocolate and instead of going for the milk chocolate, go for dark chocolate. Or dark chocolate with almonds. Craving something salty? Try roasted nuts instead of the potato chips. You're still indulging, but it's just a little bit smarter, and you're still hitting that craving. Now that you've heard all the steps, I want you to take a breath and remind yourself of this truth and repeat this affirmation. I am the boss of my cravings. I listen to my body. I honor my emotions and choose what truly nourishes me, mind, body, and soul. Say it with me, say it loud, say it like you mean it, because you're in charge, not your cravings, not your stress, and definitely not that bag of chips. And here's a little something to reflect on. Your journal prompt for this week is, the last time I had a craving, what was really going on beneath the surface? Was I hungry, emotional, bored, or just looking for a little joy? What could I do differently next time to honor my needs without guilt? Take 5 minutes, write it down, talk it out, or just think about it while you sip your tea and ignore that cookie calling your name. All right, messy babes, that's it for today's episode. Remember, cravings are normal, emotions are valid, and you are powerful enough to choose what serves you. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be present. You're not broken or destined to be stuck wherever you're at. You are becoming like a phoenix rising from the ashes, stronger, lighter, and happier. Rise up, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for riding the Hot Mess Express with me today. If you snagged a nugget of wisdom, a laugh, or just felt a little more seen, my mission was accomplished. Remember, this podcast is for education and entertainment. It is not medical advice. Check the show notes for that full legal jazz. Until next time, keep rising, keep laughing, and keep ditching perfection like the outdated trend it is. Stay messy, my friend.